Hello, everyone, and welcome, Kerry and
Adam.
And Lynn, Barb, and Dr. Nelson joining you tonight for our Thursday night Carnivore Q&A. We're going to do some giveaways, and we're going to answer your questions. Before we jump in, please start posting your questions right away. We're going to be doing a giveaway. If you post your questions with hashtag ribeye, we'll be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. So post your questions right now. Last time everyone waited till the last minute, and then we missed a whole bunch of questions. So post your questions right now with hashtag ribeye or your testimony of healing. 112 exclamation point.
112.
Yeah. Adam's getting sorted on the internet here. Adam, what are you doing here? Should we talk about that for a minute?
Sure. I'm actually here for cake and ice cream.
Cake and ice cream.
No.
soon.
I took a wrong turn on my way back home from Florida and ended up in Wisconsin.
There you go.
But I'm doing my best to channel my inner Dr. Nelson. So
right.
How am I doing, Doc?
You have the Dr. Nelson hat?
I do. Actually, it's out in the car.
Oh, you left it in the car. We were going to wear Dr. Nelson hats tonight. Adam and I have a little special project we're working on for Healing Humanity. Some big announcements coming soon. Besides that, we're going to be in Charleston, South Carolina, with Dr. Nelson, with Dr. Kiltz, Mimi Morgan, Emma, Lynn, Tucker Carnivore, Ribeye Ranger, Lynn, myself, and Adam. And that is happening February 21st. There's a couple tickets left. There's a link in the description below, or you can go to healinghumanity.movie/event to get your ticket. What else do we got? One more announcement before we jump into the questions. Adam, myself, and Barb. Barb's joining us too, right, Barb? We're going to be in Schaumburg, Illinois for a screening of Cholesterol Code Monday, April 13th. I believe I still have to add that link in the description, but if you just Google it, Cholesterol Code, Schaumburg, Illinois, you can get a ticket. You have to get the ticket ahead of time. There's also a VIP dinner. Adam's going to be there. Jen's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And Barb is going to be there as well. So join us out there.
And Barb is going to be in Charleston with us too.
Yes. Join us in Charleston with Barb as well. South Carolina coming up soon. All right. You guys ready to answer some questions?
Yep. We need some questions.
We need some questions. And in order to win the shirt, I forgot to say this last time, please make sure you are subscribed to Lynn at Midlife Carnivore, Barb at No Carb Life, and Dr. Nelson, the real Dr. Nelson. I have links in the description below for each of them, including Adam at Carnivore Today. All right. We got from No Carb Life, hashtag ribeye. I can't wait for the documentary. I plan to come to the world famous Montella Theater as soon as it's out. Awesome.
Yay.
Looking forward to it. We got some big announcements coming soon. Things are moving a lot quicker.
Just one more.
All right. Here's a question from Rob. Hashtag ribeye. I have been doing great on strict carnivore for 3 weeks. I noticed with seasonings and barbecue sauce, I have anxiety attacks and flare-ups. Can it really be those ingredients? What do you think, Lynn?
Unfortunately, yes. And sometimes after we've eliminated carbs, our body is starting to trust us again. And so it's going to tell you if you're going to react to something. So sometimes it's seasonings. It might be a histamine reaction, potentially. So, yes, your body is going to tell you. So I would say, you may need to be trial and error when it comes to the seasonings. Now, the barbecue sauce is very tomato based. Nightshades could cause reactions for a lot of people. I don't know whether this is a sugar-free barbecue sauce because there are those options out there. But you potentially could be sensitive to nightshades. And then the seasonings, I would just drill down to which ones. I would maybe start with just trying just salt and see how, and kind of back off, give yourself a chance and your reactions to settle down. And then maybe you can test out some things. But I know with myself, I can't handle pepper even. because it's higher histamine. So I use a pepper substitute, which is a mast cell stabilizer, which is black cumin seed, which is not cumin. But it's black cumin seed, which I dry toast and then put in my pepper grinder. And that's a mast cell stabilizer, which helps with those reactions. And it also has a great flavor.
Good stuff. What about you, Barb? Do you add any seasonings?
You're muted. Still can't hear you.
Can't hear you yet. I'll go ahead and answer that. I try not to add seasonings, but when I do recipes here and there, I may experiment with the pluck seasoning, just little things here and there. But for the most part, I'm 100% seasoning free. I can't say I'm at Kerry status, so but close.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, good job, Rob. 3 weeks carnivore. That's pretty awesome. Maybe just try going a full 30 days, just no seasonings, and see how you feel. It seems like it's so restricted, but once you start, yeah, except for salt, yeah, it seems so restricted. But once you start going carnivore, you're gonna feel so good. At least if you give it a shot and then maybe after a month, you're like, okay, maybe I'll experiment a little bit with this or that. But like Lynn said, it's pretty awesome on carnivore. You can really hear those signals a lot more loudly when you're eating carnivore versus what we were doing before.
You want to test your audio, Barb? No, still can't hear you.
We've got a new member, PK6201. Welcome. Thank you. All right. Our next question is from Carnivore Cheer for Dr. Nelson. If you cannot find fatty beef at the store and all they have is lean beef, what should you do?
Well, first of all, I doubt that you cannot find any. You might not find the one you're looking for, like maybe the ribeye is either too expensive or not available, but there is no variation of ribs that's low in fat. So, whether they're short ribs, flanking ribs, chuck steak or chuck ribs, it doesn't matter which ribs it is, they're going to be fatty meat. So that's one thing. You can also do what I have done. I have to do that. Haven't done it in a while, but I have a local store where the head butcher there already knows me, and he probably has some saved for me, and I haven't gone and pick it up. But he gives me beef trimmings. I paid like 50 cents a pound or something like that. And just add those fat trimmings to whatever you're eating.
Love it. Dr. Nelson, I'm sorry I missed it. I'm not going to miss it next year, but how was the second annual Kilts Tampa meetup?
I think it was great. It was, I don't know, Adam was there. I'm biased, of course. But all the feedback we got was extremely positive from everyone. It was Carnivore Zen was up there. We had two crazy ketos. We had Diane Ladd, Boston Carnivore. We had Jenny Middich, Dr. Ovadia, of course, Dr. Kiltz, and I'm sorry if I forget.
Dr. Nelson. We had Dr. Nelson.
We we had that guy.
Yeah.
I think it went great, and that's the feedback that I heard. No negative comments at all. So thank you for those of you that were there.
Awesome.
And Dr. Kiltz, by the way, has a new hat. It says on one side, Kills Health, on the other side, Killing Humanity.
Love it.
Oh, that's great.
Good stuff. All right, we got a congratulations to Adam on your certification.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Yeah, that's
what are you certified in?
being
Adam's
crazy,
officially certified.
Being crazy. So yeah,
Gosh, you didn't
something that
specify which certification.
exactly, yeah. So that's something that Lynn and Barb and myself we're all working towards. Dr. Nelson already has that certification as a metabolic health practitioner with the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners. And we're all three of us are going for our Nutrition Network coach practitioner certification as well. So it's been a lot of work. We're getting ready to start into the really, really hard part of it, and really excited for that. Mainly because this is kind of a new chapter in my life. I've always done lots of different things: controls engineer, photographer, but now I'm basically dedicating my life to spreading the message of just eating ribeyes, if I can.
Would you ever have imagined you'd gone down this path?
No way.
Pretty crazy.
Anything in the health space, I definitely would never have thought in a million years I'd be in this space whatsoever.
That's awesome. Congratulations. All right. We've got a question from Cherry. I'm stalled. How does one break a stall? Also, my son loves weightlifting. His muscles are very firm, but it looks bloated. He's on meds for a medical condition. Or could it be high cortisol?
Well, it's hard to say what medications he's on for the medical condition to know, whether or not it could be a cortisol issue. And the muscles, hard to say, because he may be inflamed if he's doing it. My son is a competitive bodybuilder, so I totally get it with, you have to injure your muscle in order to build it. So hard to say for that. To break a stall, first of all, I definitely want to know, like, how long have you been stalled? Because sometimes we define things as a stall when it's really your body's just kind of chilling out for a little bit where you're at, because maybe there's some healing that needs to be done. You maybe hit a small little plateau. But if you've been at one place for 3 months or more, then I would say, okay, that's a legitimate stall. And you have to stop doing what you've been doing. You have to start mixing things up. And I would definitely look at, maybe track your macros for a few days, go on Chronometer or MyFitnessPal or one of those other sites and, apps, and track and see what you've been eating. And so you can figure out what your macros are. How much protein have you been getting? How much fat have you been getting? How many, bad word, calories, but how much volume of food are you eating? And then start mixing it up. Maybe adjust to a little lower fat. And I would never go under 50%, but, maybe go a little lower fat, a little more protein. But yeah, I would also be looking at other factors in your life that are not dietary, like how is your sleep? Are you getting sunshine? Are you exercising? How much stress is in your life? So all of those things can play a role in your weight. But I would start with tracking for a few days just to get a baseline for where you're at.
I wanted to also talk about the bloating that she mentions. Bodybuilders purposely get swollen when they do their carb loading, carb cycling. They are actually playing with the body's hormones to help increase the muscle volume, and the actual increase is not in the muscle fibers but in the glycogen. So it's a false sense of enlargement, and yes, you can look bloated when you're going through that carb loading to do it. There are plenty of people doing exercises who are keto or carnivore. There's a couple in the space. There's Dr. Bokikio, bodybuilder for 50 years, and he's always been keto. The guy that makes the keto break as well are examples.
And Dr. Nelson, just a follow-up question on that. A lot of people who end up doing a lot of weightlifting and bodybuilding do end up taking steroids. What would be a sign to look for?
Well, the person will know if they're taking steroids, and
Right.
that definitely
If it's a mother, which I have lived through because I know with my son.
the bloating it's a signal, because the steroids often will cause inflammation, swelling, even though they are not corticosteroids in the sense like hydrocortisone or the multiple ones that we use for inflammation. They are they have a little bit of different functions. Anyways, they can cause that inflamed look, that swollen look. And there might be other changes in behavior, skin acne, skin multiple things, including acne, I would say.
Yeah.
That might be signs that they are using medications that they shouldn't be using.
All right. Good stuff. We're going to be doing a drawing for the Healing Humanity shirt in just a minute. Make sure to post your best question with hashtag ribeye. Question for Barb. Can carnivore heal a fatty liver?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo! I don't know what happened. My computer decided to select an alternate microphone. But anyway, yes, I believe that it can heal fatty liver. I know lots of people who have managed to heal that with carnivore. And I believe Dr. Robert Sivas, he says that you can actually heal a fatty liver on carnivore in as little as 7 days. So I don't know if that's tested or his
It
opinion.
is actually. Yeah. He did
Yeah.
a trial with thousands of patients that he was working with. And he said, 7 to 9 days on average. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would encourage anybody that has fatty liver to go carnivore, because what they'll tell you is, oh, this is a chronic condition, you're always going to have it. And that is absolutely not true.
Good stuff. Okay. Our next question is for Adam. I tried eating high carb diet to pack on the muscle, but it raised my blood pressure. I switched back to pure carnivore and my blood pressure is now perfect again. Why is that? Inflammation? Question mark.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the main markers for that issue with blood pressure. So I'm curious as to why you run a high carb diet to pack on muscle. Maybe you can give us a little
Carb
bit more.
loading. Carb loading.
Well, right.
Well, I
But
would.
carbs won't give you the protein to build the muscle, though.
Right. It's not a building block. Yeah.
Right.
But that's what they do.
Insulin is a big factor when it comes to the blood pressure. And so many people notice that their blood pressure improves when they bring down their insulin levels, because, insulin is a signal. It's not just there to, push the blood glucose, your glucose into the cells. It's a signal, and it actually impacts some other hormones. It impacts your nitric oxide, your aldosterone, which have everything to do with blood pressure. And so when your insulin signaling isn't working well and it's not really communicating well with those hormones, one of those causes your blood vessels to constrict and the other causes it to relax. When it's not working properly, your blood vessels can't relax and they constrict too much inappropriately. So you end up with higher blood pressure. So lowering the insulin and getting your insulin signaling working better is a big reason why people see an improvement in their blood pressure.
All right. This looks like a good Dr. Nelson question. Hello, everyone. I'm having a stent procedure March 6th, and the doctor wants me to take a statin for a year and after a baby aspirin. I haven't read anything good about them. If I don't take them, he won't do it.
He's having a stent put in, is what I'm understanding. If they're suggesting a stent, you must have some significant obstruction in your arteries. But this is March 6th, so I don't understand. I'm missing some information. if you've had a heart attack or you have had a stroke, they suggest putting you on a statin because that may decrease your risk of having another episode. Uh, I can't tell you what to tell him to do or not to do, but that's not the only combination they can put you on medication. So talk to them. You need to do your research on the statin and what the actual statistics are, the benefits. Many doctors believe that it causes regression of the plaques. As far as the stent itself, what you don't want is reocclusion of that stent. So the most important medications to take there will be either the aspirin or Plavix or any other of the available medications to avoid acutely developing a clot, which would certainly block the stent, because they put a stent and within days, months, or years, I have seen where they get occluded by a clot.
Yeah. Yeah, the blood thinner is a common. I mean, it's a standard to have to for a year after a stent, because it's, you think about it, they're putting this little tube in there in your artery to expand your artery, but it's a foreign. The tissue has to basically develop around it to kind of secure it in place. Until that happens, you're at higher risk of your blood pooling where the edge of the stent is, and so that's why they want you to take a blood thinner. So that would, I completely understand why they want you. They need you to be taking that because you're definitely at higher risk for a blood clot.
All right. VSP is asking, what is your opinion on carnivore with schizophrenia, bipolar?
I would say
Adam,
read
what do you
Dr.
think?
Georgia Eads' book.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, you have experience with this with your own family,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yeah. And I think this is in the news a lot more lately, but yeah, as Lynn said too, Dr. Georgia Eads' book is incredible as well. So many of these things are from, as Dr. Ead puts it, inflammation in our brain. And so many of us have inflammation in our brain from eating carnivore. And I don't know any better way in the world of getting rid of inflammation than eating a carnivore diet, other than maybe fasting. Carnivore diet with a little bit of fasting, but I would highly recommend checking out Dr. Georgia Eads' book. It's incredible. You got Chris Palmer's book as well, Brain Energy, and but yeah, I would check that out.
Yeah,
I've heard several cases of it as well.
Yes, there's a lot. There's some people that have these conditions who have the actual cells in your brain aren't processing glucose properly. And so there ends up being this imbalance with the glucose in your brain, which has to do with your energy. And your cells need the glucose to produce energy, but they don't have to have it. They can use ketones. And so there's pathways for the fuel to get into your cells. But if you have a problem with your glucose pathways, the fuel's not getting into your brain cells. So what Dr. Ead explains in her book is that if you can get yourself using ketones for fuel, you can bypass that dysfunctional glucose pathway and actually give your brain cells the fuel they need to produce the energy they need to function properly. And she has some amazing stories in her book about people who have experienced healing from both schizophrenia and bipolar with getting into nutritional ketosis.
Yeah, it's amazing. And a lot of these folks have tried everything else in the world and nothing else has worked until they've done this. And I know one thing that's really important in regards to schizophrenia or mental health issues is it's not just eat carnivore, right? Just have some meat. Oftentimes it's the fat. The ratio of fat to protein is oftentimes more important when you're trying to heal something like schizophrenia or some of these major mental health issues. So
yeah, and
one
it's
thing
very
I'd like to add
not
to that.
to stop your medication. Go ahead, Dr. Nelson.
Yeah, I was gonna mention not everybody likes tracking, but you don't need to track just to try the diet. But this is one of the situations where tracking your ketones and your glucose will be helpful. You want to be in nutritional ketosis as much as you can, and your brain, so the brain cells don't need any receptors to get the ketone inside the cells. Whereas for the glucose to get in, they need insulin receptors and glucose receptors to bring that glucose in. So the ketones go straight into the cell. They're used for energy. And eventually, when you're in ketosis, your metabolic state improves and your cells might be able to utilize the glucose even better. But like the two books you mentioned, definitely plenty of stories there. They're both great. And there are examples of many people with schizophrenia, bipolar illness, and all these sometimes severe conditions that improve to the point where they have been able to decrease significantly or completely de-prescribe medications. But certainly don't try to stopping the medications first. That doesn't
Oh,
work.
you work with your doctor because don't try to get off your medications yourself because it can have some very serious effects of doing that. So work with the doctor.
Yes, and if go to YouTube and type in Valerie Smith Carnivore, Valerie has healed that schizoaffective disorder a lifelong. I mean, it's a miraculous story. I know she's done several interviews with people in the community. So go on YouTube and look her up also.
Another good resource is our friends at Metabolic Mind. So definitely check out their YouTube channel and their website as well. There's plenty of examples of many mental health disorders and conditions that can be helped with a carnivore and ketogenic diet.
Absolutely. All right. We got to do a drawing right now for a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. Adam, you got the drum roll?
I do not.
No drum roll today.
You got a bunch of buttons over there.
I got some buttons here. What does this one do? The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue is Jason_916. Adam, how can Jason_916 claim his prize?
Well, Kerry, Jason_916 can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Ashley will promptly send you your shirt. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jason. All right. We're going to do one more giveaway for a 30-day free membership to healinghumanity.life. Use promo code #life with your best question or your testimony of healing. We do over a dozen Zoom calls per week. Doctors, experts, individuals, Q&A, inspire together, breaking addictions, courses, community to really help you on a path to healing. Best question or testimony with #life. And if you don't win, we have a special offer, link in the description below to get you 50% off your first month. Our next question is, this is for Dr. Nelson. My husband just found out he is possibly going to have knee surgery. He has meniscus tears. Is there any way carnivore could help? Any idea what could have caused it?
Well, good news and bad news, because so many people, myself included, have given the testimony that their pain gets better with carnivore. Very often your pain goes away very quickly. It can happen within a few days, maybe a month or two. I had chronic low back pain, plantar fasciitis for many, many years. I don't even know when it went away because you don't notice pain when it's not there, right? But you need your meniscus tears. That's the bad news. The tear is not going to probably be fixed, but you may not need to have surgery if you don't have pain, right? So that'll be a decision between you and your orthopedic, but certainly very low carbohydrate diets and carnivore diet. A lot of people report improvement in just pain.
Yeah, that happened to my husband. He was talking to a surgeon too about a tear in his knee, and then he went carnivore and the pain went away. And so never had to have surgery. What causes it though? It could be a number of things. Really hard to say.
Dr. Nelson is so knowledgeable and awesome. Heart, heart, heart. We agree. We thank you so much, Dr. Nelson. You are incredible. We appreciate you. Jamette. All right. Let's see. Maybe a question for Lynn here. Best advice on doing the carnivore diet while dealing with a ruptured or herniated disc?
Well, eating carnivore will help with inflammation. And but I would absolutely continue to work with, if you have a chiropractor, if you see a spine doctor, physical therapy, the ruptured, I've had that in my neck. It's so painful. It just takes time to heal, and I'd absolutely work with your doctor. I don't know if you could go to a spine doctor, but it depends on the degree of herniation, whether it's in interior or exterior. If you haven't had an MRI, you definitely need to get an MRI and get it evaluated. But the carnivore can definitely help with the pain by reducing inflammation. Unfortunately, I had my herniated disc before I was carnivore. So it took about a year for mine to heal. And that was with going for appointments all the time. So it might have healed faster if I had been carnivore.
Good stuff. All right. We got a question for Barb. Thoughts on heavy cream, pro or con on keto carnivore diet?
Heavy cream is delicious, but in the majority of cases, it is a con for the carnivore diet. Most people don't do well with dairy for a number of reasons. Number one, it's pro-inflammatory. It's addictive. Those casomorphines in there make you want to go back for more. So it's very easy to overeat heavy cream. So I would definitely say it's more of a con than a pro.
All right. We've got a $5 super chat from USMCPD. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. All of the super chats go to our Healing Humanity Project. Is getting a CAC score test dangerous because the radiation might give you cancer? That's a good question.
Good question for Dr. Nelson.
Good question for Dr. Nelson.
I think the risk is so minimal. It has to be one of the lowest radiation tests using radiation. Yes, it is a CT scan, which is technically a computerized X-ray, and there is some radiation. But if any of you have had a CAC score test, a coronary artery calcium score, it's a very quick CT scan. You're probably not even 5 minutes on the table. And so very low radiation. It's a good screening test. So I wouldn't say I had one. I haven't repeated it. I had one 2.5 years ago already. So it's very little. We all do things that are risky. We drive a car. We walk across the street. Those are risks. So it depends your degree of risk aversion, but it's very little.
Good stuff. Yeah, I had mine done. I think it was like 5 minutes. It was so quick, so easy to do. For me, I just know, I wish I would have had my CAC scan done before I went on statins for nearly 10 years. Not that that's a recommendation for everyone, but that's a decision I probably would have made. And so the little bit of risk associated with the CAC scan versus the 10 years of statins and all those crazy side effects I had, I would probably go back in time and do that a little bit differently. Dr. Nelson, in terms of the radiation risk, what about, this is something I was just thinking about recently, traveling so much, at the airport, going through the scanner thing. Do you go through that, or does
you have to, right? There are ways to, beforehand trying to arrange, but if you don't want to go through it, you're probably going to have a pat down. They still pat me down almost
free
every time.
colonoscopy.
Huh?
You get a free colonoscopy.
Almost. I usually tell them, you could buy me dinner first. But it's very minimal. And I was just thinking about traveling, because whenever we travel, we go through those machines. So, yes, and radiation is cumulative, by the way. So everything that you do that involves having radiation. There is even low levels of radiation in wherever you are in the atmosphere. So
I'd be more concerned about
Oh,
this
yeah.
in the wireless earbuds and stuff.
All right. Stevie has a question. Has anyone had any skin issues on Carnivore? This is for Adam. My face has started breaking out about like a rash or dandruff.
Personally, yeah, I've had skin issues, and it's directly related to dairy for me, and for a lot of others as well. So that'd be one of the first places that I would look. And then also, since you're saying that you have a rash and dandruff, those could be related to histamine as well. So
Or
I'd be interested to
oxalates.
hear. Yeah, oxalates. I'd be interested to hear what Lynn has to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thought too. It could be oxalates or it could be histamine. And a lot of times people don't necessarily eat a lot of high histamine foods until they start eating carnivore. And then they find out that they have some histamine intolerances. So it could be, I'd have to know what you're eating. But if you're eating aged meat, smoked meat, if you're eating, processed
Bacon.
meats, a lot of bacon, eggs, the whole eggs, because the egg white is higher histamine, or depending on some of the seasonings can be higher histamine, you may be finding out that you do have some histamine sensitivities. And so if that's the case, you can definitely reverse it by sticking with a low histamine carnivore diet. I have a video on my channel if you want to know more about how to do that. But if it's oxalates, you can possibly drink some black tea or some green tea and see if that helps, because a lot of people have oxalate dumping from just the years of eating other higher oxalate foods. And you can have issues for several years. And so it will pass, but it's hard to say which one it is.
All right. We've got a question for Dr. Nelson. I am 70 years old on carnivore for 193 days. Should I expect my PSA to go at normal levels?
I don't know if you're implying that it was high and you wanted to go down, or anyways, with the prostate is one of those organs that is very slow to respond. And I've heard some people, 30 days, 60 days. No, it's very slow to respond to a ketogenic diet in general, as far as reducing the inflammation in the prostate or the hypertrophy. So I don't know. I don't have enough information to say, your PSA is going to go down. But PSA is a test that is usually used for screening, no longer recommended as a screening tool, by the way, necessarily, but is a test commonly done to see if you might have prostate cancer. It could be elevated from other things other than cancer. That's why it's not a perfect test. But my gut feeling, my gut feeling is that yes, it will be helpful, because it should help with inflammation, and PSA may go down, but I haven't looked at any studies measuring that.
All right. I have a friend whose son has PKU, so he cannot eat protein. It will damage his brain. Anyone here on the panel heard of this condition, PKU?
Yes, phenylketonuria is the condition.
Isn't that one of the conditions listed as a contraindication for a ketogenic diet because of the protein issues?
Well, what they cannot have is specifically certain amino acids. So I haven't looked much into that. It's not one of the absolute contraindications, though.
Mm.
By the way, I'm sure um, if you don't know this, the artificial sweetener equal, uh, that's a definite contraindication to people who have this condition.
Mm.
But it's not that they cannot eat a protein. Is the recommendation is a low protein diet.
All right. Debbie has a question. Barb, what do you think on this one? Can carnivore completely get rid of neuropathy or just make it not as bad?
Debbie, neuropathy is a tough one. I do know people on carnivore that have improved their neuropathy. I mean, I think just getting your body into a more anti-inflammatory state will help with that. But I'm probably going to pass it over to Dr. Nelson on the actual mechanism of it. But I do know that some people are still trying to heal it. Although it's getting better, it's not completely gone.
I was mentioning prostate is one of those cells or organs that are difficult to reverse the damage. Well, the neurons and the brain is basically the toughest one, period. But I've heard of people improving their neuropathy, even if it hasn't been eliminated completely. The symptoms, the typical symptoms is numbness and tingling and sometimes pain along with it. So yes, it can improve. Yes, some people have reversed it completely, but any improvement is good. So I've seen both.
Yeah, and high fat. A lot of people have to do at least 80% calories from fat to get the support they need to help with nerve healing.
All right. Hey, it's our friend Lane. Lane said, I worked with my doctor to come off 6.5 of my 7 medications.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Great job, Lane.
It's amazing.
So I'm assuming the half means that the last medication, the dose may be lower now.
I guess.
Yeah,
That's what I would think.
going in the right direction.
Yeah.
All right. Thinking for myself says, how long does it take to get rid of the disbelievers on carnivore? Haha, I've healed tinnitus, migraines, but can't shake the disbelievers.
Sounds like a Kerry question.
Yeah, sometimes it takes forever. I don't know. The best advice I've gotten was from Dr. Baker, and that is just be the best example you can. And sometimes you just can't worry about it anymore. That's all you can do is put your example out there. And unfortunately, some of the disbelievers sadly have to hit rock bottom before they decide to make a change or do something. And hopefully by that point, it's just not too late or they end up with something horrible or irreversible. But yeah, sometimes we just be the best example we can be.
Well, and
the only other luck I've had with the... Oh, sorry, Lynn, you're breaking up a little.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying cognitive dissonance is a real thing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Mel Robbins. Oh, sorry, Kerry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I got a little lag going on here. I was going to say the only other thing I was going to say was in terms of the disbelievers, one other thing that has helped is making them a believer by sharing very specific examples. There's so many examples online, so many interviews of people. So depending on what they're suffering from, like we were talking about schizophrenia before, there's lots of great videos like Barb mentioned earlier of other people that have healed from those things. That can oftentimes maybe inspire a disbeliever to kind of make them think like this is their own idea, getting inspired from somebody else.
You know, migraines can be very crippling. Do you know anyone, Kerry, that had severe migraines, frequent migraines, and now does not?
I can think of one person for sure. Yeah. My wife, Jen, it's crazy. Like, she had such horrible migraines all the time. It had become a regular part of our life. Like, she's got to go lay down in bed and she's got to cover her eyes and she's got to get the wet washcloth. And I remember early on in Carnivore, she was saying, it's amazing how, like, I barely ever have migraines anymore, just every now and then to now at this point, it's never. Like, she never, I don't remember the last time she's had a migraine. It's just completely gone on Carnivore. So it's pretty amazing.
And I wanted to add, Mel Robbins has a great book out called Let Them. And basically the premise is, let them disbelieve. Just give them that space, and maybe they'll come around and maybe they won't. But don't waste your energy trying to change them. Just keep doing what you're doing. And like Kerry said, hopefully they will see you healing and then decide that, hey, maybe this isn't so crazy after all.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation, Barb. Jen and I listened to that book on Audible. It's so good. It's like a circle of control, circle of concern. There's only certain things we can control, and sometimes you just have to do the best you can. Put your example out there because we can control that, and then you just have to let them. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and no one can argue with your story. That's the thing.
Right.
What we're all about is telling stories, because who can argue with your story?
Exactly. All right. A question for Dr. Nelson. Would Carnivore make my TSH go up? It's now 10.40, been Carnivore for 20 months.
You should definitely have a complete workup with your doctor. Hopefully they'll order every pertinent medication. Carnivore is not a shield against everything that could happen to you. So whether you're carnivore or not, you can still get certain problems. Thyroid will be one of them. But I've spoken enough to people in the carnivore keto community, and most complaints about thyroid problems are not true. The TSH over 10, you certainly, just based on that, you have some sort of hypothyroidism, and you might need to have a complete workup. I cannot say it wasn't carnivore. I can certainly not say it was carnivore for sure, but I haven't seen, some people talk about, oh, my thyroid hormones tanked, and they're still normal. They're talking about energy levels, and that doesn't always mean thyroid. I spoke with Amy Hormerman recently. She's a functional medical doctor, and she is an expert in thyroid. Most of the carnivore tank my hormones stories are not really valid. One of the things that happens is your T3 may go down because you need less of the T3, not because you are hypothyroid, because usually that decrease in T3 does not come with increase in TSH, which would be a true situation where it is hypothyroidism. So you can develop Hashimoto's disease at any age, at any time, whether you're carnivore or not. Most people get better. Their thyroid gets better on carnivore. But
good stuff. Dr. Nelson, you mentioned testing. I recently had my my blood work done, and I checked my CRP, and it was at 0.42. And then I went and looked back, and the last time I had it before carnivore, it was over 5. So my inflammation marker, CRP, went down by 90% on carnivore.
Yeah, mine has.
Pretty proud of myself. I wanted to.
Yeah, mine's been over 20 with my mast cell disease. It's
wow.
Really high. And and I know 0.3, I think it's below 0.3 is considered normal. But last time I had it checked for the first time ever, it was in the single digits. It was at just under 4. And so for me, that was a huge win. It's still trending, it needs to go down further, but that was a huge win.
Yeah. That's very big, Lynn.
I know.
All right. And then Carnivore Cheer, I might be able to answer this one. If your health plan does not cover a CAC, what is the typical cost of getting one? I think I got mine on the cheap, but mine was literally $50. And I think I've heard between maybe 50, and Dr. Nelson probably knows this better, maybe 50 and 100, 125, depending on where you are. But mine was 50 out of pocket, no insurance, just called up the place. I came in and I gave them $50 and that was it.
Mine 2.5 years ago was free, because this was a place where they do the screening and they try to upsell you a bunch of other stuff. So I didn't get the other stuff, but you might find a place like that. The average might be somewhere around 100.
Yeah, I've heard
but you-
around 50,
you know,
50 to 100. Yeah.
Kerry paid 50, like he said. So if you look around, you might find a place. And many places do this test, but because it's not covered, they're not advertising or whatever. You just call your local x-ray place. If they have a CAT scan machine, they can do a CAT score and find out how much is it going to cost me without insurance, because most likely it's not going to be covered by insurance anyways.
Right. Yeah, it was so easy for me. I just Googled CAC near me, called them up, and I was so surprised. And it was easy. And like Dr. Nelson mentioned earlier, it was so quick. I was in and out in just like a couple minutes and done with it. So I highly recommend it. I really wish I would have had that done years ago before going on years and years of statins and all sorts of other things. It's good peace of mind. It's so funny how we worry so much about, well, what if my my cholesterol's at this number, and then maybe that'll lead to this, and then that'll lead to that, and then I'll have a heart attack. But then there's these other more advanced tests that you can get done for $50 out of pocket in a couple minutes, and maybe help you make better decisions around some of those medications you might end up taking. All right. Question from Tammy. I don't know, Barb, do you have any thoughts on this? What can I put in my black tea instead of sugar?
Nothing.
No. Yeah, I think.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing probably would be best. But if you're trying to gradually wean yourself down to nothing, maybe allulose might be a decent option for a sweetener. I'm not a fan of most sweeteners, but that's probably one that's a little more benign.
I use monk fruit drops. So it's one of the better ones, but I get it. I have to use black tea for every once in a while. So
Let me click that one.
I don't like it without something.
There is a rare natural sweetener from it's Katemfi, and it's very potent. It's very sweet. So a few drops of that might help. Of course,
What's
the
it called?
allulose. Ketemfe. I believe that's the correct spelling. Katemfi.
I've heard of that one. Yeah, I know stevia's got that aftertaste. A lot of people don't like stevia, which is why I get the monk fruit drops. I order them on Amazon. So
All right. Here's a question for Adam. Adam, does Carnivore help with psoriasis?
I know someone that is in our documentary Healing Humanity that has 100% healed psoriasis, and I would
And
say,
I know where he's gonna be tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's a heck of a transition.
Check him out because he's our guest tomorrow morning in our morning live. Lash.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, his psoriasis was some of the worst I've ever seen, and within a few short months on the carnivore diet, now you can't keep clothes on the guy. So yeah.
He attributes it mostly to his diet, and also sunshine was a big part of his story as well, just returning to what's natural. His story is incredible. You guys better check that out with on Dr. Kilt's Dr. Nelson tomorrow morning. Stephen Lashbrook, inspiration for sure. All right, we are almost at the top of the hour. I just want to shout this out one more time because a whole bunch of people have jumped on since we started. We're doing a huge meetup in Charleston, South Carolina, February 21st, which is in the weekend after next. It's coming up super quick. Dr. Kiltz will be there. Dr. Nelson will be there. Lynn, Adam, myself, Ribeye Ranger, even Emma is going to be there. And she's going to get up on stage and speak. Barb's going to be there too. Join us. Link in the description below. healinghumanity.movie/event. And now we're going to do the drawing for a free 30-day membership on healinghumanity.life. Here we go. The winner, 30-day membership, healinghumanity.life is All for Jesus Carnivore. Congratulations, All for Jesus Carnivore. Adam, where can All for Jesus Carnivore claim their prize?
Well, Kerry, All for Jesus Carnivore can go to healinghumanity.movie/events, fill out the form, and Lynn will promptly send her coupon code. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And for those of you that are upset because you didn't win, you can get 50% off using promo code LIFE226, link in the description below, 50% off your first month. Lynn, do you have anything big coming up you want to shout out at Midlife Carnivore?
I'm moving. So I'm moving next week. So I know people who view my channel keep asking me, when is this move happening? And are you going to film the before version of my crazy Frank Lloyd Wright style house? So the answer is yes. So we are officially closing escrow about mid next week. I will get in there and I will do a walkthrough and show you guys this crazy house with 0 right angles and still original 1979 rust colored shag carpet. And then I will be filming the progression as we remodel this house, which I can honestly say would not be happening if this was 2 years ago. It is all because of the healing that I have had through the carnivore diet that we can even consider moving out into the country and land and do this big project. So
it's exciting. Sounds like a fun adventure. Everyone make sure you check out at Midlife Carnivore, link in the description. Barb, do you have anything fun coming up at No Carb Barb?
Have a new show coming out tomorrow with Lauren Johnson. So that should be fun, and just lots of stuff coming up. Meat Stock's right around the corner. And yeah, it's going to be a busy spring.
Yeah, Meat Stock. If you haven't got your tickets yet for Meat Stock, go to meatstockconvention.com. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And use the code Healing Humanity for $50 off.
$50 off. There you go. We're going to be there. Everyone's going to be there. Yes. Literally everyone's going to be there. Are you going to be there?
Anyone and everyone in this carnivore community is going to be there.
Are we still supposed to be promoting it? Are there any tickets left?
Yeah, there's tickets left.
You guys better hurry.
I think he's like 250 or 300, and then that's it. They're all gone. So they're still months away. Yeah, he's going to sell out for sure. Carnivores don't procrastinate. Go get your ticket, meatstockconvention.com. Dr. Nelson, do you have anything new or exciting coming up?
I got a couple of things. Number one, Sunday is the best day of the year. It's so important that the nation celebrates the day after a holiday. You might think it's President's Day, but no, they're going to be celebrating my birthday. So February 15th, gifts are...
Happy birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also, tomorrow, I said Lash is going to be with us in the morning. In 4 weeks from today is the 12th of February. The 12th of March is Dr. Kilt's birthday. And I had something. I'll be at the meetup next week.
Mm-hmm.
This time they remembered to put my face in there.
There it is.
You're there.
You guys got to come out and see Dr. Nelson. His face is on the promo.
Front and center.
He's got a new 1 hour comedy stand-up routine coming. No pressure.
I will give a 1 minute lecture on night shift work and the disruption it causes in your health, by the way.
Looking forward to it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, Lynn, Barb, Dr. Nelson, Adam, and everyone for
Kerry.
your great questions. We really appreciate it. We do this, well, almost every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not next Thursday. We'll have to see.
There's
Every
travel
Thursday at
next Thursday, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kerry will be doing it from the car.
I might be in the car next week, but we'll see. Otherwise, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a good night. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Good night.
Good night.
Much love.